Hello, friends. Welcome back to another Adobe Live. I am your host today. My name is Idara Ekpoh. I am really excited to be here back for another Pro Tips segment. We don't have a lot of time, but I'm really excited to talk to you guys about one of my favorite tools in Photoshop, which is all of the generative AI features. And I really am excited to talk about this specifically when it comes to expanding your backdrops in Photoshop. So before we get started, please drop your name in the chat. Jeff, I already see you. I see you guys in the chat. I hope you all are doing well. I always love to ask, where are you joining from? So please drop in the chat where you're joining from. I always like to see how far our reach here is at Adobe Live. I am joining from Phoenix, Arizona, as always, where it's very hot, sunny, and not just gross. But I hope y'all are all doing well. Whether you are joining us on YouTube or on Behance, be sure to follow us on all Adobe Live platforms. So you can follow us on Instagram at Adobe Live, YouTube as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if y'all have any questions throughout the stream, drop them in the chat box and I will be sure to answer them to my best ability throughout the stream today. Awesome. Cool. Oh, northeastern Pennsylvania. Okay, Jeff. Awesome. So we're going to talk about generative expand and generative removes. Just all the tools that are in Photoshop. And these aren't new to Photoshop. So if you haven't utilized them already, I want to encourage you to do so. And as we talked about even just last week, these tools have even made their way, as far as generative AI has made its way into Lightroom as well. And so I'm really excited to kind of talk about how I use them as a portrait photographer when it comes to expanding my backdrops. I have a couple of different examples here where you can see, like here, this is the top of my backdrop, seamless paper. You can see this is a photo that I wanted this to be a bit wider, so I kind of shot wide, but I caught a lot of things that I don't need. Same with this image, et cetera, et cetera. That's me. From a brand shoot I did with a friend a couple of weeks ago. But when I'm personally shooting, sometimes you'll find yourself in a space, maybe that it's a bit smaller and you don't have a lot of room to have like a wide or tall backdrop stand. I don't let that stop me from getting the shots that I want. So I try to kind of just work with however best I can work with the space, as long as the backdrop passes my subject's heads or feet if I'm doing like full body, I know that I can take care of everything else in Photoshop. So the first thing I'm going to do, as always, is, oh, someone said great photos all around. Oh, thank you. The first thing I'm always going to do is duplicate my background just in case I need to, delete anything. It's not on the original layer. So that's just a number one tip I always try to make note of. Then I'm going to come over to my lasso tool. And with this tool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a selection of what I want AI to kind of fix for me. Now, when you're making selections when it comes to your backdrop, it's really important to kind of not focus on just doing this and getting a little bit of the backdrop and running the generative fill. I try to get as much of my background of my backdrop as possible, without, kind of cutting into my subject's heads. That way AI kind of knows like where I want it to kind of pull from. So like if I was just gonna do this, let's see what happens here. So if I was just gonna do this and it's like line here, be like, oh, remove this. And sometimes I don't put prompts, but if you would like, you can. Usually AI is kind of good with taking it without a prompt when it comes to this example, but let's see if this will read what I want it to read. I want to say no, it won't, but it could prove me wrong. Okay, so here. So it did know to fill in the area with the color of the backdrop, but I still have the seamless paper here, which I also want removed. So I'm going to go back and reselect. And again, I want to come as close to my subjects as I can just to get all of this information here without cutting into their heads, because I don't want anything to impact my actual subject. So I'm going to make my selection there with the lasso tool, like I mentioned. Then I'm going to click generate a fill. And I'm going to generate and see if it's going to fill that area for me. So we're just going to do. Bam. So very simple and easy like that. And in this case, with this group shot, I would still, it's kind of awkward because there's so much space and what I should have done with this shot is pull out a bit more. But if I wanted to make a crop, I now could, and kind of like, okay, hold on. If I wanted to make a crop, I could. Ooh, can I make the crop Idara? That works best for the subjects, I could do that as well. So that kind of makes it a bit easier and cleaner in that way. I like this for when I'm shooting group shots of people and I want to kind of get a specific, like maybe I want the end of the shots to be at like the backs or the shoulders. But and I think with this shot, I shot it straight on, but a little bit lower as well. So that's how I got some of that background. Going back to here, you also have your variations when it comes to generative AI and Photoshop. So if I didn't like this one, let me delete this real quick. Oh, sorry, let me go back here. I could click on the different variations, which just kind of do the same thing. You can just kind of see the slight difference in like color. This is a bit darker around the edges. This is darker around the top. I like the way the first one looks. I feels a bit more seamless and true to what it was. Did the models know each other? I'm curious. Yes, they did. We are all friends. So I'm friends with all of them. This is my friend Chantel. This is her sister-in-law, and then like two of our other friends. So yes, we all knew each other. It kind of makes it easier when they all know each other. For like a shot like this, where like they're next to each other, laughing, kikiing. They look like friends, which they are actually friends in real life. Another example. So let's go to this photo here. I have shown Dang on one of my streams in the past. So this is not the first time. If you're new to one of my streams, it may be the first time you've seen him. I know sometimes I bring up a photo of Dang and people are like, oh, there's Dang. So with this photo, I really wanted to make my subject kind of feel small in this bigger space. So my goal here is to not only expand the background, but probably expand the photo a bit to where I feel like he is a lot smaller. So let's kind of see what we can do here. So I duplicated my background like as always. Oh, nice. You can feel the chemistry. The smiles are genuine and beautiful. Aw, oh my goodness. I love, I love, I love. Oh my goodness, we have a large reach today from the Middle East, Western Florida. Oh, welcome everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Okay, so I'm gonna make a selection around my subject like we did before. Ooh, hold on. There we go. Make my selection around my subject. My mouse is acting some kind of way today. Oh, I got his toe. Ugh, I don't have the most steady hand, y'all. So please forgive me. Okay, and then I'm gonna come. What am I doing? Let's do this. Oh shoot, Idara. Oh lordy. Okay. No, that's not gonna do what I wanted to do. I'm so sorry, y'all. Or actually, let me do this. Let me select my subject and then inverse. And then I'm gonna come here and just take a little bit off of him because sometimes I'm gonna take the selection a little bit off of him just so it's not, oh goodness, no. Just a wee bit in certain areas. I know like around his ears, I don't want it to like accidentally cut off his ears or his head. Okay, cool. And then just, that's pretty clean here. All right, and then I'm gonna click Generated Fill and we'll see what it does with that entire. Yes, I'm using a mouse. If you can't tell, I'm using a mouse and I don't actually have my mouse pad, so it's just here on the table and it's like really slippery. So I apologize in advance, y'all. Okay, so there we go. That's an example of what could happen. This is what I wanted it to do. But again, it gives you variations. That's the one thing I love about AI is that it'll give you different variations. Now, these are the variations I got. If I felt like it didn't generate what I wanted to generate, I could generate more options. So if I click generate again, I could generate more options that way. The second option was what I wanted. So I'm going to go back to that, but I'm just kind of curious on what else it's going to create for us. Let's see. Oh, wow. So if you had, let's see. Okay, so it did cut a little bit of his neck, which is fine for the case of the example. So this is what I wanted. I didn't want the other ones. I'm gonna go ahead and merge these two backgrounds together. Merge my layers. Where is it? My eyes. Okay, I didn't click on the two layers to merge. There we go. Merge layers. Then I'm gonna go different variations indeed. You feel me, Jeff? Then I'm gonna kind of come in here and crop and expand where I feel like I want to expand. I want it to expand out a bit. Let's see. Oop, that's gonna be a lot. I'm gonna just make this excessive just for demonstration purposes to see how you can. Okay, and then I'm gonna click generate and see how it also, and that is me doing the generative expand. And so I didn't really explain that portion well, so I do apologize, y'all. So while it works on this, I went over to my crop tool. And so I like to use the crop tool to do, it'll help you do the generative expand. It'll give you the kind of corners around your image and you can pull them out to kind of be able to expand your backdrop out a bit more. I like to do this when I feel like I want a bit of a wider shot in the case of, in this case, we'll do that here. Like I want my subject smaller and I want them kind of like in this yellow room, is what I want it to look like. Okay, cool. I'm gonna zoom out or do this right here. And oh, Coolio. Let's zoom out a bit more. Let's go 15%. There we go. So I clicked on the crop tool here, and then you'll see here that you get how the tool is around your image here. And you can see that this changed to generative expand. So all you would have to do is kind of expand your backdrop out a little bit, like so. Kind of want to make sure like that they're kind of centered that way. And then click generate. And as it does that, oop, not my screen going black. Ooh. Let's hope my computer doesn't give me issues during the stream. Okay, cool. It's not going to. So while it does that, let's see, it's almost done. And then we'll expand it out a bit more. We're almost there, Do you guys call this, is this called like in photography class in high school, they used to call it the spinning wheel of death. Is that what it's actually called? Or is that just what we call it? Oh, did that do what I wanted it to do? Oh, what happened here? Hold on, you guys. Let me try that one more time. Uh-oh. Okay. Let me try that one more time here. Let me merge. There we go. And then I'm going to duplicate again. And then we'll come back to my crop tool like that and just pull out where I want this bottom line to kind of fall at his feet. And let's generate that one more time. Scaling in would also be really, really cool. Jeff, you said, fun idea. If you use the animation feature, you could also do a cool zoom effect. Yes, I wish I like could do like animation. That's the next thing I personally want to learn and try to like incorporate with my photography is animations, because I think that could be really cool to have like that zoom in effect. I think that could be really, really dope. Let's see. On Mac, it's the beach ball of death. Wow. I think it's a pinwheel, but lots of people call it spinning wheel of death. Yeah. Or beach ball. Yeah. That's how I know what I know it as. A little high school me in class, and my photo teacher is like, the spinning wheel of death. Like it's like so like, oh, so much. Okay, cool. So here we go. And you guys can see how we were able to expand out that backdrop a bit more. Just to kind of, I really wanted it to be like they're like an itty bitty person in this big room is what I really wanted. And if I wanted to like, let me merge everything together again. I just like to merge layers just for peace of mind. Then I could come in here and like do selective color and really kind of play around with the color of my backdrop. If I wanted to make it a different type of yellow, I'm gonna come in here with my eraser tool. Kind of take this off of my subject. I'm gonna need to zoom in because I can't see. Trying to act like I got super eyes. I cannot see that. I cannot see that at all. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of do like a very messy. I'm getting on the backdrop, but it's bothering me that he was looking kind of green. I'm just gonna do this real quickly. And then there's the before and after of the backdrop. So those are two examples there about how you can expand the backdrop. Another example here, let's see which one. Let's do the photo of me. I think that's fun, you know? How many people are on streams editing photos of themselves? Is it giving conceited? I don't know. Is it giving conceited? I hope not. Okay, so I'm gonna go around my subject, i.e. me, and then come up here. Let's see. And then click on my generated fill, again, to kind of clean up all of this around. Clean up all of this around my subject. Ooh, I messed that up. Okay, let's do that again. Let that expand out. And then we're gonna use generative fill also to kind of clean up the backdrop. You can see here, we've got some marks and dirt on the backdrop, so we wanna clean that up. Bam, okay, cool. We've expanded that, or we've filled that portion of our backdrop. Look at our variations. I think I like this first one the best. I like that it kind of kept the shadow here because I feel like the light was over here. You guys can't already tell by the backdrop. The light was, I think that's my left side, right? So it was at my left, up a little bit at like a 45-degree angle. And so that's where that shadow kind of came from naturally. So I'll kind of pull this back here because you can still see that there's a shadow here. So I really like that it just kind of kept that component and kept that detail. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Oh, Val said, such a great photo. I don't know if you're talking about me, the photo of me, or the photo of the previous model, but I'm gonna take that as you were talking about me. So thank you. So we're gonna come here and just kind of make some selections of the parts that we want cleaned up. So I'm just, and notice how I am not using any prompts. I think that you can, as you can, I tend to like for stuff like this when it comes to expanding my backdrops and cleaning up my backdrops, I don't use prompts because it tends to do a pretty good job of knowing what I want it to do already. So I don't do that. And I just, what I could also have done is like, yes, I can use the clone stamp tool to go ahead and clean up parts of my backdrop and whatnot. Would probably be faster, but I just am really enjoying a lot of the AI features here in Photoshop and just using those to kind of do the work for me. So when I'm kind of cleaning these up, I'm just making selections of the areas that I want my backdrop to clean up. All of them, but I was talking about you. Thanks. All the models are great, but you are beautiful. Oh, y'all don't, you gonna have me blushing. Y'all are gonna have me blushing at the end of this stream. I'm gonna be, you know when you smile so hard, your cheeks start to hurt. Oh, thank y'all so much. Making me feel all nice and good inside. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love y'all here at Adobe Live. Y'all just be making me feel so good. I appreciate it. On the days I don't feel great, I can count on y'all. So we're just again cleaning up the backdrop and let's see, that's a better variation. So like this was, as you can see here, there's this random white spot here. So I didn't like the way that looked. So I just went to different variation and we're kind of good there. Again, I could be using the clone stamp tool, but just for this purpose of learning more about AI and Photoshop, I am just choosing these tools to show you how it can kind of work and aid as far as being able to clean up certain aspects of your photo as well. So that's the way that I like to use these tools. If y'all have any questions, please do let me know. Let's see. Okay, so this is loading. So this is probably the last selection I'm going to make. Yep. Beautiful. I'm going to go Command O, zoom out a little bit. Let's see. I think for the most part, this is good. And I'm going to go ahead and put all of my generated fills into one folder here just to show y'all that before and after. So you can see here we have how many layers? 1, 2, 7 layers. But we went from this to this, which I really, really love. I love like, again, I tend to move towards like wider shots with my subjects. So if in this studio, you can see here, here's the ceiling area. So we didn't really have a lot of, and we had this like random vent that was kind of in the middle of the room. So we really didn't have a lot of space to lift this up a bit further. And of course, I could have came in a little bit more. The person that was shooting could have, but the whole purpose was to get kind of a full body shot of me. And I really like the way that this ends up looking as far as the final image. And so I can do that. I'm going to leave that there. Just for the fun of it, let's go ahead and do some editing on this backdrop. I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to delete this. Let's go ahead and select my subject. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. Listen, don't be be a slacker. I love that. All right, I'm gonna Command I here, go to my, so all I did was let me deselect there. I clicked on select subject. This is another tool that I just like to use very quickly. Instead of going around and making like a selection of my subject, I let Photoshop do it for me. If y'all know me, I love to talk about ways that you can save yourself some time. Because one thing about me, I want to save time. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting any time. All right, so I made my selection. I'm going to come down here to my adjustment tools, clicked on select a color to create a new layer. And that way I'll be able to kind of focus on editing the color of my backdrop. So let's see. What are we doing? Where are we kind of going with this, Idara? Ooh, I don't really like how green that looks. I wanted like a deeper color green. Okay, let's see. But one thing I really do love is how well these tools, again, work with each other. So as I kind of expanded my backdrop, and this portion over here wasn't here before, obviously, because it looked like this. But even when I'm, on doing my selective color now and trying to change the color of my backdrop, it's selecting everything, which I really like. So it really becomes one with your image, which is really great. Is it gonna, nah, I don't think it's detecting any greens. I think we just may be in the yellows for some time. Let's see, let's make this here, 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 and here. And then again, before and after. Let's see, do we have time to do one more? I think so. Can I squeeze it in the last 3 minutes, y'all? Let's see, just real quickly. This looks like a magazine with oh, yeah. Y'all are here just blowing my head, just giving me a big head. So I'm gonna make a quick selection around my subject, Command Shift I, and let's see if it's gonna expand out the backdrop as well here. Perfect. Let's see. Generating. I feel like we can make a song out of that. No, maybe not. Bam. So again, don't let, like, really the biggest point that I want to make sure that I drive in today is do not let your space kind of hinder your creativity. If you don't have access to specific backdrops, if you don't have access to spaces that are larger, if you're just working in a smaller space, working with the tools and resources that you have, the one thing that I really love is that all of these tools, especially with the incorporation of AI, really work in our favor to kind of create a new world for us and kind of take care of the things that we can't do in our shoots, in our day-to-day. So I really love that with this photo, you can see, I think I was shooting from a lower angle and shooting up a little bit because I liked her. I wanted to get obviously her full body in the space, but I also liked the way that it looked from down below. And when shooting that, I'm getting all of this. I'm getting the backdrops. I'm getting the walls. And just in a matter of seconds, I'm able to go ahead and take care of that and clean that up. And then if I wanted to, like we talked about before, expand it out a bit, like such, and maybe make the backdrop bigger, I can do that. And we're going to generate. Ah, if anybody's a DJ, let me know. I feel like we can make a little club banger with that generate. All right, so let's go ahead and see what this is gonna look like. And then I'll show y'all that before and after as we are getting to the place of closing. I'm so sad. I feel like these protests are so, I don't get to spend as much time with y'all. Oh, bam. So that's our before, and that is our after, just in a matter of a few clicks and being able to kind of fix all of that. So I really do hope that you all enjoyed this pro tips for today. Want to encourage you, as always, to utilize these tools to kind of make up for where the areas that you may need a little bit extra support, right? So again, if you are shooting in spaces that seem to be too small, maybe you don't have resources or access to the large backdrops, especially seamless backdrops can be very, very expensive. You can make up for a lot of that in Photoshop, being able to utilize these tools to expand your backdrops and honestly tell the stories that you want to be able to tell in your photos. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this stream. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me as always. But until next time, I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all on the next stream. And stay tuned for more streams throughout the day as well. Awesome. Bye.